underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Beyond.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Beyond, episode 334. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right, how are you?
I can't complain. And then, making his Podcast Beyond debut?
Yes.
Bobbia, 1984.
It's about time.
It's been a long time.
Leave me today. I thought you were going to leave me today.
I was not going to leave you today.
You
You're a fan favorite, Bobby. If people don't know you, explain yourself to the kids at home.
Well, I guess I'm known as the Call of Duty guy here at IGN, but when I'm not playing Call of Duty, I'm taking out the garbages, I'm rubbing Greg Miller's feet, and I'm harassing Colin to send the pub info the correct way. But outside of that, I do DV here. I publish all your trailers and gameplay videos. Everything you guys come to IGN for, most likely I publish it for you.
Gotcha.
Boom.
So you're the backbone of IGN, I say all the
Yeah,
time.
the man behind the scenes.
You got to start demanding more of that money.
Don't get me started on that.
Okay, cool. But you do. Everybody knows you do weekly Let's Plays for Call of Duty. You're starting off with Titanfall. I'm saying, I'm getting there. Calm down, bro.
And Madden. Don't forget the Madden.
And Madden, we
stuff.
did, yeah. The Madden series that you ended up tying up.
Yeah.
Colin,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm all right. Sorry, I'm just sending an email.
It's fine.
Adam
Who are you emailing?
Schefter over here, man. Just got all the breaking news.
That's what he does. That's why they call him Scoops.
Yeah.
Scoops Moriarty.
Scoops.
Hey, Moriarty,
There
how
was
many
a
scoops?
There was a G.I. Joe called Scoop. He was kind of lame. He came with a camera, and like my friend bought him, and we were playing with our G.I. Joes.
Yeah.
Like, where does this really fit into the?
He was the war photographer.
Yeah, he was, but it was just stupid. He came with like a little pistol, and everyone else came with these machine
I
guns.
never heard of him.
Yeah? Were you a big G.I.
I used
Joe
to watch
fan?
the cartoons
Really?
in the morning. I never heard of him.
There you go. I think you're making it up.
I think
I'm
he
definitely
is.
not. I'm definitely not making it up.
So, are you
There's
sure
one thing I know. It's
Are you sure you're
Joe.
not thinking of the Jeff the Cameraman figure from the Uncharted series?
Yeah,
huh?
no.
No? Not
Jeff's
that
dead.
guy? Oh, I know. Just like Jeff Rubenstein.
Yep.
May he rest in peace.
Both of them are dead.
He's not dead. He went to the Xbox.
Okay.
You can't tell me who you're emailing, though, huh?
No.
You almost done emailing?
No.
How do you? So I'll just talk to Bobby more?
No,
Is that
we
it?
can keep. Let's just keep going. And then when you
All right, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Rope Report. Time for some news. I'm very excited to see how you write an email while doing the segment.
Watch and learn, Greg.
Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, Podcast Beyond is IGN's PlayStation podcast, the number one PlayStation podcast on the internet. We post it as an MP3 every Tuesday. Even this week, a lot of people thought we wouldn't get it done because of GDC taking us all over the place. But this is our dedication, Bobby.
Man,
that
I'm
we're
here.
making it happen.
And I'm here.
You're here making it happen, too. Then Wednesday it goes up as a video form on IGN.com, on the PlayStation 4 app. Go get it everywhere. Colin!
If I ever get back on here, man, let me know so I can go shave and groom myself.
This is your
man.
own fault.
I
You don't know the show. That's not my problem.
I didn't know we was doing it today. I thought it was going to be tomorrow. So
okay.
That's why I look a mess. But
All
come
right,
on,
well,
let's go.
you look great.
You look great. Like dynamite. $1 million, Bobby.
Like $1 million.
What else would you have done? Everybody's watching the video probably on IGN. They can see he's got this nice hat on. He's got the white shirt.
Shave this monster up. Man.
You look good with it, though.
Look rough.
Yeah, that's what you want to look, though. Rugged, like a cowboy.
Look like I don't get no sleep. Got kids.
Well, yeah, that was your own fault. I told you this was a mistake. I told you I'd help you lose them at Disney World if you wanted, and you're like, no, I'll keep making them. I'm like, all right, whatever.
See how I got another sentence and a half out there.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
And you're sending it as like Morse code as fast as you can.
There are 11 items on the list this week. Number 1, PlayStation 4 firmware 1.62 is now live.
Boom.
It weighs in at nearly 350 megs and focuses on, quote, fixing operational quality during use of some PlayStation 4 format software.
That's
end quote,
the update I've been waiting for.
and improves, quote, image quality for some applications, end quote.
Wow.
Might be mandatory. Just go download it and get it out of the way. That's just a little piece of housekeeping. That's not really that.
So turn on your PS4s and get it done.
Oh,
It was me,
okay.
Shawnee Finnegan.
Number 2. A slew of new apps are coming to PlayStation Vita. Hulu Plus, Redbox Instant, and Crunchyroll, all three are already available on PlayStation consoles, will now be usable on Vita. I also saw that maybe NHL Game Center is coming to Vita, which is interesting.
Do you care about that as an NHL fan?
I have NHL Game Center, but I.
But would you ever watch on your Vita?
No.
That was the thing. When they brought Netflix to the Vita, I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, I didn't do anything with it, of course. I've never used it. Now you're just doing it. You're not even going to... You thought you're going to be part of the conversation every time?
Okay. Got a few more words out.
You're a big hockey fan, Colin.
Yeah. I am.
Avi writes in and says, Colin,
Yeah.
hypothetically, if the Islanders were playing in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup at the same time as the Jets playing in the Super Bowl and you could only watch one, which would it be?
That would never happen.
But he
so I don't
says
have to worry about it.
hypothetically.
Sure wouldn't.
He says hypothetically. This is how hypotheticals
That only
work.
wouldn't happen because most of those teams are terrible, but because they just take place at different times of the
But
year.
hypothetically, which one would you watch?
The Jets.
Why don't you just get 2 TVs in the living room? When we
Yeah,
just
I
go to
guess so.
underdogs? That's
Yeah,
how we do it.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not worried. That's a problem that will never happen.
Okay. Avi has more questions. Quick fire. Keep writing your email. Bobby, what's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Oh, I can get in trouble. Oh, I don't think.
Well, censor it. Censor the story. Dial it back. What's the third craziest thing you've ever done?
You know what? I don't have too many crazy things, but one thing I did do, and I regret it because I believe in karma and what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
I was walking out of Casper Dogs one day, and I saw a wad of money on the ground, and someone had just walked in moments before I walked out. I saw the money, picked it up, and I thought about going in there because I wasn't sure if it was his money or not.
Sure.
But I was thinking, should I go in here and ask this person if this is money, or should I take it? And I took the money, and a week later, 2 of my tires popped, and I had to use that money to go get the tires fixed. So I never do things like that. I find stuff, and I turn it in now.
Nice.
So that sucked that I did that.
I had a karmatic shift like that once where I got out of the car to go buy Superman and on the N64, and I spit my gum out in the parking lot, and I was like, I knew I shouldn't do it, but I did it. I should find a trash can. I shouldn't be gross, but I was a gross kid, and I did it. And then on the walk back, I stepped in my own gum and then had gum on my shoe, and I was like, nah.
See, that's not
shouldn't
as
have
bad
done
as
it.
what I did.
No, you're a horrible person. I'm just doing, it's cosmic. And then my final quickfire for me was, Greg, give up fast food for a month or gaming for a month. I don't even eat fast food now, so that's what it would be.
Everyone just assumes because you're fat that
I know.
that you eat
Nah,
fast
you
food.
look good, man. You used to be a big boy.
Yeah, he's
I'm
losing.
still a big boy.
He's
Not
losing
that
weight.
big,
He's not
yeah.
part of Team Fat anymore.
Colin, don't
I think I'm the leader of that squad
bullshit,
now, man.
Bobby.
Do
You're
I
what?
eat-
You're doing P90X.
Yeah, I just
You got
thought-
these guns?
I just started P90X 2 days ago.
What,
but
we're doing
dude,
that? We're slapping our guts in the mic? Oh, it hurts. Look at that. That's still fat. I don't know why everybody's saying I'm not fat. That's what I'm rocking over here. Now you have to watch the video version.
You're a shadow of your former fat
Oh
self.
my god, you're crazy.
Yeah,
For better or for worse. And you didn't even try to lose the weight, which
That's
is
the whole
just
thing.
annoying.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I'm not doing anything different. Still eat my wings.
When
You
Greg
be
still
eating
eating
that grilled
pizza.
food. You be grilling your
Well, yeah, I
your
grill
little chicken
steaks.
breasts and stuff like that. I think you eating a little better. You don't eat fast food. You
He eats salad.
Yeah, I like salad.
My favorite
This is
thing
the
was
whole
that-
thing with Team Fat is that it's not about being like I'm gonna go home and eat a pizza every night. Like I'm gonna go home and eat whatever the fuck I want and do whatever the fuck I
Sure.
want. Like this weekend when I sat there and played Infamous nonstop and didn't move.
Here's the thing about Greg, though, is that when we go out once a week to lunch with Tim and Nick.
Right.
And Greg sometimes, to feel healthy. Greg likes to feel better about himself by ordering certain foods. So he'll order a salad, but then he'll get just buffalo chicken on the salad.
Yeah.
So it's like a little mixture of both kinds of things. So he'll get the buffalo chicken salad, no blue cheese.
It's so good.
But the other thing about Greg is that he likes to make salad at home.
Yeah.
And he puts it in Ziploc bags, but Greg does not understand that you can't put salad in Ziploc bags without putting a paper towel in it. So he'll make all of this salad and waste it every week. Like a head of butter lettuce and a few carrots.
Lots of spinach.
That's the extent of the salad, by the way, is butter lettuce.
It's butter
and
lettuce, carrots, cucumbers, spinach.
Oh, cucumbers.
Okay. Now here's the thing, Bobby.
Welcome to Podcast Beyond.
I tolerate Colin. I enjoy him. For the most part, he's a good friend. Then he comes on a bit strong and really pisses me off. But he's got this thing. He always says this thing of revising history and then trying to claim everybody else did. The salad thing with the fucking paper towel. This guy's never been more right. Because 2 weeks ago I started putting the paper towel in and it's way better. So I never say he's right on anything because he's usually wrong, but he nailed it on this one.
It's because of my dad. My dad's a big
Big GJM.
Big GJM is a borderline vegetarian.
Yeah.
So every once in a while I'll go out with my dad. He eats nothing but Swiss chard with garlic. That's basically and yogurt. That's basically what my dad eats. Big. So ex-firefighter, 6'3", built, jacked up, but just eats really healthy.
Yeah.
Then we'll go to the diner every once in a while, and I'll get a cheeseburger, and then maybe I'll leave a third of it left, and he'll be like, "Are you done with that?" And then he'll eat it. So that he's fucking trying hard. Number 3. I was at a panel yesterday, Greg. For
Where are you
GDC. At a GDC panel given by Riot Games' Tom Abernathy and Microsoft Game Studios' Richard Rouse III, it was noted that most gamers don't actually finish the games they play. Using Steam achievements as a metric, it was noted that while 66% of people who started The Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 1 finished it, that number dropped to 39% by Episode 5.
Monsters.
56% of Mass Effect 2 gamers finished it, but only 42% of Mass Effect 3's gamers did.
That's interesting.
Bioshock Infinite has a 53% completion rating. Batman, Arkham City, and Portal come in at 47% each. What? The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim has a 32% completion rating. Borderlands 2 is at 30%.
Borderlands 2's a lot to get through. You can totally get lost in sidetracks. That I get 100%.
The two men later noted that
Skyrim
statistically only a third of people who play a specific game actually finish it on average.
You know what? For the
Here we go.
Dead, no, but I'm gonna say for the Walking Dead one, they must have made some of the wrong choices because at the end of that first episode, I was like, gotta get back into it, gotta keep going, and I kept going all the way to the end. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that was their problem. I didn't play Mass Effect 3 or 2. I started the first one, and an hour into it, I was like, I'm done.
First one sucked.
I was like, I'm done. So I think it just depends on the game and the person playing it, and if they're not enjoying what they're doing, they just like, get me out of here. You know, that's how this is for Call of Duty. I don't even start the campaign. You're
right in that multiplayer.
Yep,
Start
yep.
hitting that prestige.
Yeah.
Nate writes in, not Nate Ahern, I assume. Colin, I read your article highlighting Richard Ross's speech at GDC regarding the overrated aspects of plots within video games. He states that gamers care more about characters and experience rather than plot. I'll just say this. That bastard could not be more wrong. Aren't the characters and experience predicated upon the context in which we find them in the game? Characters and experience cannot be enjoyed within a vacuum. The plot makes sense to both aspects. What are your thoughts beyond, you sexy bastards?
All right, so there's a part of this speech. It was an interesting panel. It's only 25 minutes long. They got a lot of shit in this panel.
Yeah.
For 25 minutes. I've been in 90-minute panels, had fucking nothing compared to this panel. So good on them.
Good on them.
On Abernathy and Rouse. But what they were saying was that Microsoft did a bunch of research into how people how plot in games resonate with people in comparison to plots in TV shows and movies. And what they found was that when a person is asked to describe his favorite movie's plot, he can do that at length and very accurately.
Yeah.
And the same thing with a television show. But when he's asked to describe the plot of a video game, he can't do it nearly as well. And what they use as the metric is accuracy and word count of like the description. So a person will give a 400 word count description of A New Hope, but then a 100 word somewhat inaccurate description of Uncharted 3. Right?
Ooh, that's fascinating. I never thought about that.
And what they were saying was that when you talk about characters, that people remember game characters. So with The Last of Us, they might not remember. They'll remember that Ellie's the cure, and they have to go find the Fireflies, but they don't remember the minutiae. What they remember is Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
And they might remember Joel and Ellie better than they remember Luke Skywalker. You know? Because, and what they were saying basically was that what they think it is because people, we're observing a movie, we're observing a book, right? We're
you have
reading
nothing else to do but watch.
Right. Like, we are playing the game and, like, you get interrupted constantly because there must be action. And what they were saying was they were encouraging game developers to focus more on characters and the user experience, what they call the user experience, rather than the plot. Now, I don't necessarily agree with their findings, how they got those findings at Microsoft, because I think it's somewhat unscientific to say, like, word count and this abstract notion of accuracy is, like, the way we're going to gauge it.
Sure.
But they're on to something for sure. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it. I get really sucked into plots. And they were talking about all of the aberrations with open world games, for instance, because they're basically focusing on the three-part structure of a story, beginning, middle, end, right? And how, like, Fallout 3 has no beginning, middle, and end. It has, like, a very short beginning and a very, like, and they were saying the vault and Project Purity at the end is the end. But every 95% of the game in the middle is whatever the fuck you want.
Do whatever you want.
So there's all these aberrations, whatever. But I thought it was an interesting thing. I don't necessarily agree because, like Bobby said, like I think The Walking Dead's a great example of a game that is so compelling. I waited till all 5 episodes were out to play it.
Me too.
I played it. Yeah, it's smart, and that's what I'm doing now with season 2. And I played it through Thanksgiving weekend some years ago, 2 years ago, and I was fucking enamored with it. But a game like Journey, which doesn't have a plot and it's only 2 hours long, has a narrative that's strong, that spoke to me through the character, not because of the character. I don't give a shit about the character in the scar.
Well, this is a good. This example, I think, rings true when what they're talking about. This fascinating. I never thought about it. Whenever we argue with somebody about Uncharted 3, right? You and I, when we believe Uncharted 3 is better than Uncharted 2.
No, it's not.
Shut up, Bobby.
No,
You shut up. You're our guest here. Show some respect. But this is the thing we get into, right? And sometimes when people talk to me about the plot of Uncharted 3, like, and what the hell was Marlo doing? What was she gonna do when she got that thing to make everybody crazy? And I'm always like, I don't care. I don't know. I don't care. I loved it because of Drake and Sully, and I loved it because of how funny it was and the action and playing it. I never really got caught up in, like,
so there you go.
What her thing was. So they're right. This has been
I think a lot of people took offense to it, but I don't think it's something to take offense to. It's just to say we look through the plot and through the eyes of the character, which is not that surprising. But when you're watching a movie, you're not really seeing it through the eyes of a narrator or the character. You're seeing it through whatever they show you.
You're putting your lens on it.
You're always really seeing the game, like we just played Second Son. We can't talk about it yet, but you're seeing the game through Delson's eyes, even though you see him on the screen.
Right.
So I don't know. They're onto something, but I don't necessarily. I like plot.
Yeah,
I could definitely get into the minutia of game plot. That wouldn't be
you've
lost
done it once
on
or twice.
Yeah. Number 4.
Gonna come on my show and insult us like
I'm
that.
sorry.
Bobby.
Shout out to Beyond Crew.
Number 4, if you live in Canada, you're now paying more for PlayStation 4, as well as PS4 games and accessories. PS4 consoles now cost $450 Canadian, up from $400. The camera and DualShock 4 are increasing in price from $60 Canadian to $65. I think games already cost $70 there, so I don't know how much they're paying there. But that's due to inflation. There's parity between
Is
those
this
costs.
because of the Toronto mayor's like drug addiction and all that stuff?
Rob Ford?
Yeah.
Mayor Rob Ford.
Is that what happened? Did he put a tariff on games?
Yep, there's a tariff on games. And
Why would this happen, Colin? You study the economy.
I do. I study it every day.
Yeah.
No, it's Sony. First of all, there's a Sony Computer Entertainment Canada, which I, in 7 years, never knew that existed. And I cover Sony.
Yeah.
But anyway, they released a statement saying this, to the Toronto Sun, the newspaper up there, saying that this is what is going on. But they never implicitly say it's because the Canadian dollar is struggling. But that's what you read between the lines.
Gotcha.
It's the same reason why, I think in Europe the PS4 is €400, right? And in Britain is even a better example, isn't it? Like £350 or something like that, which would make it like $600. So there's some parity and there's some not, depending on where you live or whatever.
Gotcha.
A better example is what happened with Vita in Japan when they dropped the price of it only in Japan. It was because it was costing more there from yen to dollar conversion than it was anywhere else.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Number 5. People got mad at this story when I wrote it, but I'm going to...
No. Mad on the internet?
When comparing the Wii U's first 3 weeks on the Japanese market to that of PlayStation 4's first 3 weeks on the Japanese market, the Wii U is technically outpacing it. Through its first 3 weeks in 2012, Wii U sold 557,901 units in Japan. Through its first 3 weeks earlier this year, PS4 sold 410,000. Now, there's reasons for this, right? There's supply constraint issues, maybe, in Japan. I'm not sure about that. There's mixed messages out of Japan about that. It's certainly a supply constraint in the West. Mm-hmm. There's a lack of games. Yakuza Aishin was the biggest game in Japan, but that's also available for PS3, and it's sold twice as well on PS3. And some people pointed out that Wii U came out during Christmas. Now, there's something to be said about that, but there's something not to be said about that. I don't want people to overestimate what Christmas means in Japan in comparison to Golden Week and what do they call it, Uban or whatever. That those are two like national holidays where people do buy lots of gifts and gets lots of things. So while people buy Christmas presents for each other in Japan, that's not the only time that a frenzy like that happens for gift giving. And actually, I think Golden Week's a bigger deal in that particular time when people are off and they're on vacation and they go and buy things. I don't know that Christmas had anything to do with it. I think that Wii U had a better launch lineup. I think that's probably,
is it? I mean,
case. It had a Mario game.
So do you think? I mean, like it never really turned. Wii U's never really turned it on anywhere worldwide. Do you think that PlayStation 4 catches up outside?
Oh yeah, no.
eventually?
PS4. That's why I said in the article. You suspect PS4 is going to be fine, but there's a significant. When I saw the numbers, I followed those Japanese sales very closely, and unlike in the United States, they release them publicly every week.
Yeah.
In the United States, they never release the numbers publicly. It's up to the discretion of the company, or someone leaks the MPD numbers. So I followed them very closely. When I saw the drop off, like PS4 barely outsold Wii U in its first week, but then dropped to like the 60s, and Wii U actually stayed above 100,000 for 2 weeks. So when I saw that, I wrote the piece up and did the math, and there you go. So I thought that was an interesting story.
Bobby,
yes.
Why don't you own a PlayStation 4?
It kind of goes back around to the kids.
I told you not to have these kids.
Now I can get one.
Yeah,
but I think it'll just sit on the floor for right now because I'm not really interested in none of those games. I remember you giving me the first Infamous a while back.
Yeah,
go try it out, and gave it a couple of hours, and it just didn't strike me the way it strikes you.
Yeah,
and what might make me get if I see another Uncharted come out.
Yeah.
I might just go, whoo!
Okay, that'll be the push, because they'll have a bundle when that happens, I guarantee you.
And I might just do...
2020.
Or we talked about this a while ago when we was doing the Madden commentaries. I saw your PlayStation with with your name inscribed on it.
Yeah.
Like, that looks amazing. You was like, I can get you one. I'll go talk to the person, and we'll work things out. Haven't heard nothing back from you since.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. It's not easy to make these things appear out of thin air.
Supply constraint.
Come on, yeah.
I don't know. You're
Japanese
you're
yen.
Greg Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking you make a phone call or two to somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go to my desk and the PlayStation 4 gonna be there. But
okay.
Sooner or later, I think I'm gonna get one. I just still use the PS3 as like Amazon Prime and Netflix here and there, Blu-ray. I'm not seeing what that PS4 is doing that much different.
You're the audience that we talked about at launch that was trying to get you. You're that, you were entrenched in Xbox with the Scrub Nation. You're playing your Call of Duty. You got all these friends. The Wolfpack now? Okay, sorry, my bad.
I got kicked out of Scrub Nation.
I heard about that. Gosh darn it. Magic. But no, so yeah, now they have to find something to make you jump. And obviously Titanfall coming out, that didn't help.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? That almost, you can pretty much say, made the choice for me, where I was sitting on the fence going PS4, Xbox, and once I heard Titanfall was coming to PC and 360 and Xbox One, I was like, oh, that made my decision for me, Yeah. And then now that I'm playing Titanfall, it's fun, but I'm still thinking, wow, if PS4 really had something else out there for me, like some of those other games that I'm not really into, I probably would have jumped over, but I'm just not interested in most of the PlayStation games right now.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's a good thing you're on Podcast Beyond.
Man.
Number one PlayStation podcast in the world.
We need to get me on here more often. Maybe I'll go out and buy one if you get me on maybe 3 more times.
I remember the first 150 episodes of Podcast Beyond when I was like, I'm not buying a PS3. That's stupid.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy a PS3 until it was $300.
Some discourse I don't think is a bad idea.
Number 6. This one I'm very excited about.
So what? Danganronpa.
Yep. Longtime Castlevania producer Koji Igarashi has officially left Konami. Igarashi, known as Iga.
Oh,
in case you
to
play
your
any
friends?
games. Yes. Well, in the credits.
Okay.
There's some fear in old Japanese games of poaching and vanity. And so a lot of people would use code names in the credits. Iga was instrumental in the creation of the most popular Castlevania game of them all, Symphony of the Night, and went on to produce a majority of the Metroidvania Castlevania games that came after it. He also worked on both 3D PS2 Castlevania games, as well as the notorious, horrifyingly bad Castlevania fighting game on Wii called Castlevania Judgment, which, by the way, I played at E3 with Mark Ryan in 2008, and we were hysterical laughing about how bad it was. Oh, God, that game sucks. He's giving a speech at GDC later this week and promises that he wants to deliver games he knows his fans will want from him. So my prediction, because it's a Metroidvania panel, is that he's going to announce a Kickstarter for a Castlevania-like game, just like
a Mighty
Inafune.
Number 9. Yeah.
Exactly. We'll see.
That's exciting, right? That's what
exciting.
you want. You want those Castlevania side-scrollings.
They can annualize those like Madden or Call of Duty, and I think that they would find an audience. Now, clearly there was an economic reason why Konami stopped making those Castlevania games. They made like 7 of them on GBA and DS and then just stopped.
Yeah.
So maybe they just weren't seeing a return on them. But
Yeah,
I
but
think
with
the
the
time is right now.
Yeah, with a digital platform and not having those kind of restraints anymore, I think you'd be all right.
Yeah. Oh, those games are so good. Number 7, The Last of Us has sold over 6 million copies worldwide, making it a bona fide hit for PlayStation 3. Indeed, it seems that Naughty Dog is responsible for 3 of the 5 best-selling PS3 exclusives ever released, when you include Uncharted 2 Among Thieves and Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. God of War 3 from Sony Santa Monica is also on the list, and Gran Turismo 5 from Polyphony Digital remains PS3's best-selling exclusive by a mile. Pardon the pun.
What game? Gran Turismo?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Gran Turismo
People love that
at
racing.
almost 11 million units.
Wow. Maybe I need to start doing some commentaries on one of those.
I got to.
I would pay to see you.
I need to
do
go get my
commentary.
phone charger.
All right. Well, I want you to stew on this question while you run away, all right?
Oh, okay.
The question is about Last of Us. It's from Big Tony Style. He says, Beyond, if the Last of Us movie does end up happening, who would you like to see cast in the leading roles? You think about that and come back. Bobby, you're big on the movies. This is the thing. Neil Druckmann, of course, writing the script right now. It's happening. The guy who produced some other movie that escapes me at this moment, producing it. That's going to drive me crazy. So who do you want to see as Joel and Ellie?
All right, so for Joel, I'm going my all-time favorite, Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington.
Gotta bring Zell in there.
Yeah.
Gotta bring him. Ellie is a tough one because I don't want to say Ellen Page because that's the first person who I think of.
Yeah.
But I don't really know too many like young, or not just young, but somebody that can embody her at the moment.
Sure.
I mean, Ellen Page is the only person in my mind right now.
Stick with me on this one. You watch the Walking Dead TV show, right?
Right.
I'm not up to speed. Do not ruin it for me. I know. I saw the tweets.
But
That's
you read
crazy.
the comics. You read
I
the
know.
comics, so you know
Oh,
what
was it not?
happened.
Was it not anything outside of the comics?
I don't want to say nothing. I mean,
Okay.
you read the comics.
Anyways, the little blonde girl who they've introduced through The Walking Dead, who was like Carol's surrogate daughter or whatever for a while, but the bigger one. You know what I mean? How there's like 2 of them. She could be Ellie. She could pull it off, I think. Granted, I'm thinking that because she's in a post-apocalyptic show already, so I already see her in that light.
I don't know if I really like her. Like, she's okay, but
I think she could. I think with the right script from Neil Druckmann, she'd be great.
I mean, hey, that
Now
could
see,
work.
and
It
so
could work.
and then when I'm thinking Joel, I see you immediately broke the mold of what we think of Joel already. I immediately jumped to Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin, that big beard he puts on all the time, he'd be a good guy. He's got that grab.
Zell would kill that role.
I'm sure he would. Denzel Washington for Joel.
He would kill that role.
No, Denzel's a fantastic actor. I still haven't seen Flight. It's in my Netflix queue. I want to see
Gotta
it.
watch it.
Yeah, it's
I
real
love
good.
it, yeah.
It's depressing, so I can never get Snammer to watch it. What do you got for me? Joel
Patrick Duffy as Joel.
That would be fucking awesome. Patrick Duffy.
Yeah,
Step by step, Patrick Duffy.
No.
No, Denzel Washington's killing that role.
Who was the girl that you wanted?
He got hung up on Ellen Page. He's not sold on it, but that's what's jumping to his head. I jumped with a girl from the current season of Walking Dead, who's done nothing else really, so I can't do anything for that. I mean, I think
only know her as Lizzie. That's all.
You know her name, everything. Lizzie, that's right. The whole thing is like, what's weird about this is that like when I think of Ellie, I still think so much of Ashley Johnson. But Ashley Johnson's older. Can they age up the role, or does that destroy it? That destroys it.
Yeah, gotta stay young, right?
Ashley Olsen Patrick Duffy and Ashley Olsen as the last.
But Ashley Olsen's old too.
No,
not like old. Not like
they
old.
Can put her.
Dakota Fanning's back. What about Hit Girl? How old's Hit Girl?
Oh, yeah, I think she's like 15 or 16.
Okay, she could do it.
Yeah, she's really good.
She's really good.
I've seen her in a couple of the movies outside of the Kick-Ass series. So I like that.
Okay, there you go. Done.
Yeah, Denzel Washington and girl
Hit Girl.
And what's her name? Like Shoal Grace something?
Really?
I thought it was like.
I'll check. I'll do that. You go to the next news story.
Patrick Duffy will be the understudy.
Patrick Duffy can be David. Another just totally out of the left field creepy role for somebody.
Number 8. In a conversation with IGN, Sony's Scott Rhodey noted that Sony, quote, loves that people are still interested, end quote, in The Last Guardian. He said in part that, quote, when we see that the public is so interested in a specific game, of course that drives us to want to complete the game, but it also drives us to want to make it great. We would not want to ship that game if we don't think it's great, end quote. He later said that he's, quote, not going to announce what platform it's coming on, who's working on it, who's involved, but that is still a title that's absolutely in the mix of Worldwide Studios, and that he actually likes talking about The Last Guardian. I love that people are still interested in it. That's an honor to us. That's not just me spinning. It's really cool that people are still interested in it, and we're trying to make the best thing we can out of The Last Guardian. I think this E3 is going to be the year.
This is the one? It finally pops?
I swear y'all been saying that for like 3 years.
They have.
Too.
No. There's old Beyonds where Roper predicts that. Hit Girl is Chloe Grace Moretz. So there you go.
Chloe.
Her and Denzel killing it, and Ben Foster is David.
Who's Ben Foster?
You know who Ben Foster is?
Give me a character he is.
Oh, shit. He played in that terrible movie with Bruce Willis, Hostage, I'm going to say almost 10 years ago.
Oh, 310 to Yuma guy?
310 to Yuma guy. That's who
this guy?
Yep.
Yeah, I know him. Yep, He's like the creepy bad guy and everything.
I like Ben Foster to play David.
Okay. I can see. He'd be good at that.
Man, can somebody give me some credit so I can help with this movie? Because
Sure.
Denzel.
I'll hook you up with Neil Druckmann while he's up here for GDC, and you can go out there and
hook it up.
All right, you got it.
Number 9. Eagerly anticipated RPG Bound by Flame has a release date for both PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, as well as Xbox 360 and PC. Look for it on May 9th of this year. Mugen Souls Z also has a release date on PS3. That RPG will come out on May 23rd.
Cool.
Bound by Flame actually looks cool.
Yeah.
Number 10. Sony's officially testing rental prices on the PlayStation Network, likely in conjunction with its PlayStation Now streaming initiative. Someone browsing the PSN saw the rental links while looking at the PS3 game Catherine, with 1, 7, and 30-day rentals available. All, interestingly, were marked as free, likely indicating that this was merely a test. Number 11. This is the final one. A bunch of new games have been announced for the PlayStation ecosystem. 2D side-scrolling action game Savant Ascent is coming to PS4. Castle Storm and Kickbeat are being ported from PS3 and PS Vita to PS4. Action game Assault Suit Lanos, which is a remake of a Genesis game, is coming to PS4. Puzzle game One Upon Light is coming to PS4. Shoot 'em Up, Prismatic Solid, and Revolver Reactor are coming to PS4. Action platformer Rocket Bird 2 Evolution is coming to PS4 and PS Vita. Futuristic racing game Race the Sun is coming to PS4, PS3, and Vita. Tower defense game Final Horizon is coming to PS4 and PS Vita. Horror game Home is coming to PS4 and PS Vita. There are no games for PlayStation 4, though, right?
None that'll sell Bobby.
Man, because all that he's reading, I'm just like, I need to open up. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I have to open up.
Do you feel like you're too closed up because of the limited time you have to play because you made the mistake and had two children?
I just think it started back when I was younger. I mean, I couldn't really afford to play like all these different games.
Sure.
I was stuck with some of the annual, like, you know, it wasn't Madden, but it was like NFL games and just like, I only played like that first Metal Gear on PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
And then I jumped all the way up to Metal Gear Solid 4 that came out on PS3.
Yeah.
So it was just, I just didn't really have a lot of money growing up, so it was kind of stuck. I was stuck with a few games that I just played. But now when I listen to you guys talk about like some of the older games that you enjoyed when you were playing when you were younger, it just seems like I never really got that chance to do that. So now I'm just kind of stuck in this closet with my few games. But I'm telling myself, Bobby, you have to break out and play some.
You got to come shine, Bobby. That's what it's all about. You got to let your colors fly here. Yeah. You got a job now. Chances are they won't get rid of you. While we're talking. about that there Metal Gear. Bobby's talking about he's played some old Metal Gears. That Ground Zero is out this week. Eric writes in and says, Beyond. What's up, Greg, Colin, and the ghost of Andrew Goldfarb, who will forever haunt the dreams of this week's guest?
Oh, man.
Sorry about that, Bobby.
Is that what they say?
You got some bad news in there. In preparation for the release of Ground Zeroes, I've been catching up on some of the old Metal Gear games that I somehow missed. This got me wondering, what is your absolute favorite moment from Metal Gear Solid series? Is it an epic boss battle, a touching cutscene, a hilarious codec conversation? For me, it was the end of Metal Gear Solid 4. Spoilers! Not the epic final battle with Liquid Ocelot, but just before that, where Old Snake has to crawl through the microwave tunnel to shut down the Patriots' AI, using every ounce of his strength as his life slowly drains. Lots of love. Keep up the great work. Beyond. I'll go first. You can think a little bit. I've had a chance. Obviously, I assembled the questions. And I've said it before, too. For me, it's always Metal Gear Solid 1 when Sniper Wolf is dying. That was like a real turning point for me. I always talk about Metal Gear Solid being the turning point for me in games and seeing what was going to happen and where they were going. And I remember playing that with Poe, and we were switching the controller back and off because he was really good at Sniper, but I was good at everything else. And so when you come up to Sniper Wolf and she's talking to you, and then, everybody runs up there, and he's got the Octo camo, and he starts crying. Oh, it's touching. Touching. Otacon. Why Otacon?
The best boss fight is Psycho Mantis.
I thought you were going to say Fat Man.
Which we've talked about many times in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah.
Then I won't go over why. We've talked about that
at
a million
length.
Times. The Fat Man conversation is awesome, too. Also, Decoy Octopus in Metal Gear Solid 1, when you see him as DARPA Chief.
Yeah,
was very touching moment for me.
A touching moment.
Yeah.
That touched you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bobby.
Let me see. Since I only played 2 of them,
Yeah.
I only really have. I guess I don't know if that's the ending part of where you were talking about, but I was sniping in the snow. Was that
Yeah,
against
Sniper Wolf. Yeah.
That battle for me was tough, man.
Yeah.
'Cause it was like she was shooting, and I'm like trying to figure out where she's at.
Yeah.
So when you have to take pills, right?
Yeah, you gotta
So
steady your hand.
That was pretty tough. I was really engaged with that. So
Yeah.
I think I didn't care about the ending part because I wasn't really attached to her like that. But just being able to
Heartless.
overcome that battle.
Yeah.
I had to go change my shirt because I had sweated that out because I was like, man, this is tough.
Yeah,
But
there's
that's
so
my
many
moment.
battles in Metal Gear that are like that. I remember in 1 when you are fighting Rex or whatever, and you're running around, you got to use your chaff grenades and all these other different things. Great stuff. Love Metal Gear.
Metal Gear 1 and 2 especially are just fantastic games.
Speaking of Metal Gear,
And by the way, the original Metal Gear
on NES? Or what was the one before that? It was on that weird ass
MSX.
system too. Yeah, I always forget that. Speaking of Metal Gear, there's a new Metal Gear coming to stores. Bobby, if I wanted to know what games came to stores, where would I go?
IGN, man.
You fucking fake fan. Colin, give it to me.
The Andrew Goldfarb Memorial list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors.
Dun, 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 dun. I saw him last night.
Oh, really?
He came to the
He's
GDC
alive?
party. Yeah. He was back in the IGN stomping grounds.
He's not hunting my dreams then. So
No.
we're good.
He's basically dead to me.
Dead to you.
Yeah.
Harsh.
On PS4, Infamous Second Son comes out. Now, keep in mind that this comes out on Friday, the 21st. It's at retail and digital. You can already find it in stores, but it will likely not be sold to you because the register will decline your sale.
How stupid is that?
We've played the game, and it's everything we say about it is redacted, so we'll just save it for the next week. By the way, we're recording a spoiler cast on Friday that will go up on Monday.
We're also putting up a Trophy Wars about it. This kind of touches on it, which we can answer, I believe.
Okay.
This is Greeting Beyond Crew. My name is Tim Weisenhunt from VA. I have 2 questions for Colin. Just you, apparently, Colin, so enjoy that. Number 1, I know that you've beaten Infamous Second Son. I wanted to know if you could get the platinum in 1 playthrough if you did some save manipulation like in previous games.
No, you can't. It would not be possible.
Because is Expert unlocked from the get-go? Because that's one of the trophies.
Yeah, Expert's unlocked from by the way, Expert's tough, man. Because you don't... Oh, I can't say it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I don't think it's that bad.
I think it's hard for one specific reason. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, come here and whisper in my ear. One more time? Really?
Yeah.
Where?
The enemies...
Yeah. I haven't even noticed yet.
Okay. That's interesting because I'm dependent on it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I just wrote on your arm.
Good. You've marked me. Now everybody knows I'm your property.
No, you can't because there are certain trophies. The trophies is leaked, so we're not embargoed by that.
Yeah.
There's trophies to get all the way to level 5 as a good guy and a bad guy, which you would not be able to do with save, unless you were really crazy with save manipulation, you'd just be wasting your time. And you have to make different choices, which would be able to be
With
manipulated with
save manipulations.
saves. But it's just that's not feasible. It's like the other Infamous games. Like you will do most of everything in one playthrough, then play it again on Expert.
Yeah.
And go on through from there.
Yeah, I guess the level 5 thing would be the one that you'd have to. It doesn't make any sense. It seemed like it'd be more time consuming jumping around doing it that way.
Exactly
Why wouldn't
right.
you just play the game again?
You could beat the game and then run around the sandbox when you're done, and if you beat it as good, just get that all the way back to evil. I assume you could probably do that, but by fighting people in the streets and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the
that would
missions
take
give you so
forever.
much more.
Yeah.
That's where you get your big bump or good.
It's just not worth it. Play it twice.
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, also known as the $30 demo, comes out at retail and digital.
Funny you
on
bring that
PS4.
one up because our boy Tim from Virginia has a second question, again, just for you, about Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. It doesn't have a platinum trophy. Kojima said it's due to Sony's regulations regarding non-full-priced games. Resogun has a platinum and it's $15. I know others, however, do not. What are your thoughts?
A lot of Sony downloadable games have platinum trophies for obvious
Yeah.
reasons. But no, he's right. I mean, they definitely do have Resogun is a full game.
Yeah.
I would say Resogun's a much fuller game than Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes is going to be at 2
Yeah.
hours long.
Well, there's other stuff to do, but yeah.
So, no, but that is typically the regulation. But you see exceptions. Dead Nation, I think, was one of the first notable exceptions
Yeah,
when it
that was
came
the
out.
first one. Yeah, first downloadable game. I think
yeah.
for me personally, I was talking in the office, right? Like, I think it was just the fact that there are these regulations in place. I think that most developers don't give a flying fuck about trophies and achievements, and so I bet,
Which is silly.
I bet that Kojima's staff was like, "Oh, hey, we need to put trophies in this. How does that work, Sony?" And they're like, "Oh, you're not a full game, so do this." And like, okay, nobody was like, "Wait a second, we want a platinum because yada yada." Nobody thinks that way.
I understand why
except
people
us because we have no lives and we like collecting.
It's
them.
not even that. I understand why people don't like achievements or trophies or don't care about them. But for developers to be ignorant of how they're important to their game is actually really silly.
You and I talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
When we finally get laid off from here, when they finally fire us for being stupid idiots,
Yeah, right.
we are going to go and start a trophy consulting business where we just come in, we play your game, we tell you what the trophy should be and how to maximize
We can
your
make
potential.
literally hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds of dollars.
Stealth Inc. Ultimate Edition is available digitally. That's already on PS3 and Vita. SteamWorld Dig comes out digitally. On PS3, Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD Remaster comes out at retail and digitally. Luftrausers is finally out digitally. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, the $20 demo on PS3 is available retail and digitally.
I can't wait to play Metal Gear Solid.
Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, which is apparently horrendous, is available digitally and at retail. And that's it for that. For Vita, Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD Remaster is available retail and digitally. Luftrausers is available digitally. SteamWorld Dig is available digitally. That's it.
The Stealth Inc. Ultimate Edition on PS4. Vince, a huge proponent of that Stealth Inc. Is this where you should pick it up, you think, if people have missed it before?
I haven't played it on PS4, so I don't know.
But you
I
played
think-
it on the other ones, right?
Yeah, I liked it on Vita.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Okay. Dan writes into Beyond at IGN.com and says, Beyond.
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 You know. I'm 13 and beat The Last of Us' campaign, which was really awesome, and I found that games are really turning to a point of very deep themes like rape, parentheses, David and Ellie in the restaurant, and survival of the fittest. Do you think that games will eventually be banned in the US because games like The Last of Us are pushing the barriers of content? Not being negative, I totally agreed with your review, Greg.
I reviewed that. But no, games are protected speech under the First Amendment. They cannot be banned.
This always goes back to what I'm always talking about, right? That really we're just playing the waiting game with all the old people getting ready to die. Once all the people in Congress who are old and didn't grow up with games die, it'll be just like TV and rock and roll and everything else, where the people who grew up with this are going to be like get to points of power and be like, we don't need to argue about this. There's something else killing the children now, and that'll be the thing that's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
But right now, like games, like, every day they get more and more accepted, and I'd like we've talked about this before. We want to see games go in all directions of narrative and push all
I
sorts
want
of
them
boundaries.
to get dark as shit. I want
Yeah.
them to get. I like light, airy games. So I like plotless games. I like, but I want games to like make me super uncomfortable and
Yeah, like a good book.
challenge me.
Like a good
I
movie.
Yeah, like Spec Ops: The Line was a great example of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, but they're protected speech. The Supreme Court has ruled on that actually. So the only problem is ESRB ratings. Stores will not carry ESRB ratings of AO, which is why a lot of games are curtailed.
Right.
But we don't have these hardcore rating systems or censorship laws like they do in, say, Germany or Australia, where games are regularly banned or heavily edited. So in terms of freedom, in terms of game development, we're actually like near at the top. So I don't think we have to worry about anything here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Everything's perfect forever.
I don't know. When I look at that, I mean, like he said, the David and Ellie thing. I saw that, and it kind of made you a little uncomfortable. I don't know
Right.
if it's because I have a little baby girl and that I think about her and my wife and stuff like that. But yeah, even looking back at, I think Modern Warfare 2, they had, I think, the airport.
Oh, no Russian.
Right.
Yeah, and I was just like, I played that, and I mean, it didn't really bother me, even though like stuff like that is imminent and it happens. But I think for me, I look at it as just a game, and I've taken it as the person that's playing it. It's pretty much up to that person to how they're going to handle it, whether they're going to look at that and go, holy shit, I'm going to go do that same thing I saw in this game, or, if they're mature enough. Because I look at it like this with my son. I don't necessarily want him to see that, but you can't hide all this stuff. I mean, it's on television. Television is turning that point. I was looking at one of my favorite shows, Bates Motel, the first episode. I don't want to spoil nothing with nobody, but
you've said spoiler. You've warned them
spoiler.
now.
You look at Norman's mom was getting raped in that
really?
episode, and you just look at that stuff. It's there on television now.
Right.
It went from movies to like cable. I guess you could say HBO and all that to now A&E. So
yeah.
I just, like you say, it's protected, and shit's going to continue to happen. It's going to get, you say, darker and darker. So it's just up to that person who's playing it to handle it.
How are you going to handle all this with your kids then?
I think trying to shield them from it is the bad way to go. You just got to explain these things to the kids, and hopefully my kids are smart enough to go, okay, Pops, not going to do that in the future. Thanks for telling us, But I think hiding it is the worst way to go. Just explain. You got to communicate and explain to them what it is and what it means and what's the consequences behind doing shit like that. So hopefully I'm a good father.
You seem like you are.
I'll try to be.
Except for this white T-shirt.
Oh,
Get a Game Over Greggy T-shirt. Sparry writes in and says, Beyond. I was recently watching watching Grounded, the Last of Us documentary, and I paused an important detail. Naughty Dog didn't use facial recognition in their mocap for The Last of Us. I was blown away as the animations that ended up in the final game were spectacular. With Infamous Second Son out this week, I heard in last week's podcast that Sucker Punch used facial recognition in their mocap. Do you think that Naughty Dog will use it, or will Sony get a facial mocap studio for them too? If they use it, do you think that it will take Uncharted PS4 to the next level?
Well, Naughty Dog has their own studio. Sucker Punch has their own studio.
Yeah. But he's saying,
So there's not like a Sony family studio. I think that Sucker Punch used Naughty Dog's with Infamous 2 or something like that, then got their own.
It was something like that, yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't know the technical details, but with only 256 megs of RAM on PS3 available to do graphics, there might have been problems with getting all of that facial recognition stuff into the game, a game that is already so intensive. But I'm not a technical man, so I'll let Naughty Dog speak to that themselves. As for Second Son, I will say, because we've seen, people have seen the game. It is drop dead gorgeous, and Delsin and Reggie look very good.
Yeah, their facial animations are really cool. Yeah. I don't know if I think it depends on what the next game they're making is, because when we again, not breaking embargoes, because you can see all of this gameplay on IGN and we've seen enough cutscenes. When you look at Infamous Second Son, I personally see Troy Baker and Travis Willingham. Those characters are those people. They're actors put into this movie or this game, I guess, in this point, right? And so the flip to that is Joel and Ellie didn't look like Troy and Ashley necessarily. There's a little bit of resemblance, obviously, but when they have those cameras in front of them when they're capturing, and they're filming their faces so that they can then go in and animate how Miles moves on these characters. So whatever the next game Uncharted or Naughty Dog's working on, if they want the characters to be as played by this person, then I think they'd go the Infamous Second Son route. If they want it to be the characters of our own creation that now come to life, then I think they'd hand animate some more, because I think that works so well in Last of Us.
Yeah, we'll see.
We sure will. Anytime now. Eric writes in and says, Beyond. I recently saw Greg tweet, quote, "The world is saved, hashtag Infamous Second Son," and I was just wondering what that meant. I remember you were tweeting something similar with Tearaway, and if I recall, you didn't like that game at all. Yeah, don't read into it that way, Eric. The World is Saved, of course, was a hit music video posted here on IGN, created by Podcast Beyond fans during Podcast Beyond 200, or I guess for Podcast Beyond 200. And so the song is about finishing a video game. You've beaten this game, and now what happens next? So every time I beat a video game, I tweet the World is Saved music video and hashtag the game I beat. So that's why. Don't try to draw parallels between Tearaway and Infamous. Colin, you got time for one more question?
Yeah, sure.
Here's what I want you get to pick, all right? Features you want on the PS4. A guy just got a PS3 and wants to know about how he should play the Uncharted games. And then Elder Scrolls / Diablo 3.
Oh, Jesus.
I got one here too that has something to do with Last Guardian as well.
No. Let's do the first one.
Feature?
Yeah.
Beyond. My name is Austin. Yeah, I'm that guy at the top of all your friends lists. Oh, cool. Okay. Anyway, my question for you guys today is what feature that either hasn't been released yet or is going to be excluded from the PS4 that you wish was there? Personally, the two things I am hoping for are the DLNA support to stream my content from the PC, and I also remember them touting a feature where you could take over your friends' controls to help them out with games. P.S. Thank Colin for the awesome breaded chicken recipe from a conversation. I use that shit all the time now.
Good. I forgot about that feature. The first feature I'd like is for us to be able to change our PlayStation Network names.
Yeah, that's one you've been waiting for a long time. Yeah. You've been beating the drum on.
But no, I think one of the features that I would be really excited about with PS4 specifically is, I guess, a more granular trophy system. And I think a lot of this comes back to my inability to browse my friends list now. See, this is one of the bad things about PS4. This is like one of the only bad things. Now that we have 2,000 friends on PS4 instead of 100, one of my favorite things about PS3 and Vita was going on and seeing what everyone was playing, right? I never do that at all anymore. I don't know what the fuck anyone's doing on PS4 or PS3 or Vita because I just can't go through that list of names and then the PS4 browser starts to crash and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to accept all my real name requests because I get 3 in and then it crashes out on me.
But I would like a way to select certain friends that send them to the top so I can see like what the people
favorites. That'd be really nice. I'd really like a favorite.
Send them to the top and then have some way to like compare more easily our trophies at a glance. Like not even say like I want to compare Greg's to Colin's, but always show me like a few people's trophy counts
really
and stuff like that.
That'd be really cool
to make you kind of want to strive for more. Of course, I'm fucking obliterating Greg now at this point, but
yeah, you just hit 26, right?
25.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But
you're not obliterating. You're 25% ahead of me. But no, I'll never catch up.
I'm wasting you. But I like having that carrot on the end of the stick, right? Like it would be cool to have like the person right behind you and the person right in front of you in trophy level on your list. That way you know like where you stand, have like some sort of leaderboard standings kind of thing, world standings. See, what's cool about psnprofiles.com, which is a website I love, and ps3trophies.org, which I love, is that there's these communities of people that are really into trophies. They're into finding trophies. PSN Profiles specifically tracks your trophies and who's playing, but it's not everyone. Somehow they have some sort of algorithm that captures, I guess, active players or whatever.
Yeah.
If you go on PS4 now, you can see like the rarity of all the trophies worldwide, which is fucking awesome.
That's really cool.
But it would be cool to get more granular than that. Have leaderboards, like literal, like where do you stand compared to everyone? You know, that would give people more incentive to chase trophies, and I think that kind of thing would be cool because I think trophies are getting more and more popular. Actually,
right. I think so too. Bobby, what feature on the PlayStation 4 could bring you to the PlayStation 4?
Shit. Okay, what I look back at, and I'm pretty sure all of this has been updated. My main issue I always had with my PlayStation 3 was trying to get into a party with friends and being able to handle. And now, shit, Xbox One completely fucked that system up.
Yeah, I can't believe they had everything right.
They had everything right, and now at times I feel like I'm playing on PlayStation 3 when I'm trying to get. So I don't know on PlayStation 4 if you guys have had an app. I hated trying to get in a party with friends or just to talk to them while they were playing a different game because it just didn't work, and that's what made me go away from playing on PS3. So like I don't want to have to wait till this person gets on Call of Duty to talk to them. If they're playing whatever the fuck they're playing, I want to talk to them.
Right.
So has that been updated?
Yeah, they got Party now, and they have the cross-game chat. I don't ever use it.
I don't use it. I don't like talking to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, a ton of people use that these days.
Yeah.
On Call of Duty.
In the new days. What I want added is I want to be able to basically put folders on my desktop of the main hub, right? Because like now it's just that list of what I've used and how I've used it, which is great. But then it's just like I'd like to put all my games in one thing, kind of like how you go to the TV video section, you drop down and all your apps are there. I'd like to put all my games together and have them alphabetized there. Because it's already getting ridiculous and we're just starting.
Yeah, I think the PS4 obviously is in its embryonic stage.
Sure.
So I feel like the PS4 interface that we're going to have in
and I love it.
5 years.
Like I mean, I still feel like it's so much better than the PS3. You know what I mean? Like we're not taking knocks at it. It's definitely really, really nice, and I do love it.
Like I said, I loved when the PlayStation Store did an update last week on time. Shockingly.
Yeah.
That I was watching a Netflix thing and I was like, I wonder if it's done yet. And I just hit the PlayStation button, go to the cross media, go to the PlayStation Store, look, it's not updated, go back, and my Netflix thing is just paused. It was fucking awesome.
Same thing with like
You'll
Infamous.
never be able to do that in a million years.
When I'm hunting trophies, I'm like, what is that? I hit it, I go up, it's there, I'm back, I'm done. It's like I'm not have to wait for that little pinwheel that you used to get on the PS3 for the trophies to live.
The worst. I used to unplug from the network sometimes when I go look at my trophies just to stop it from doing that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Podcast Beyond, episode 334. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, every Tuesday we post the MP3. Every Wednesday, the video, which you can get on IGN.com, which just so happens to keep all the mics turned on. Because podcasts are fun, but it's the articles, videos, IGN Prime, and PlayStation 4 app that keep us going. So make sure you go support us there. You should follow us on Twitter. IGN's IGN. I'm at GameOverGreggy. Colin is at No Taxation. Bobby is Bobbia1984. Bobby, thanks for joining us.
I need to get to 10,000 followers. If
What are you at right now?
I'm maybe 30 under 8,000. So, if
ladies and gentlemen,
if y'all can get me to 10,000, I won't ask for nothing else.
Okay,
but a PlayStation 4 from you.
Okay, I'll keep working on that. Bobby's funny. He likes video games. He puts up really good commentaries. If you like Podcast Beyond, you should probably watch his commentaries. I know. Stick with me. Call of Duty. Who the hell cares? But his commentaries are never about Call of Duty. They're always about what's happened in his life.
Listen to it.
Little stories.
Just listen to him.
It's like This American Life with guns.
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.